Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Adha Saptadashodhyayah. SraDhdhaa-thraya-vibhaaga-Yoga. Arjuna Uvacha. Yeshāstravidhimutsrujya yajante SraDhdhayanvitaah. Tesham nishtatu ka Krishna. Sattvam aho rajastamah. So Arjuna is asking a question. In the previous chapter, Krishna insisted on learning the scripture, following the scripture. Arjuna's question is, Krishna, suppose a person keeps aside all scriptural injunctions and yet does the worship, perform many yajnas, endowed with a lot of faith, SraDhdha. Does it come under what category, Krishna? Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic? That is what Arjuna's question is. The person who is not taking care of, who is not paying attention to the scripture, but is still indulging in performing all the Vedic rites with a lot of faith, under what category that person will come? Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic, Krishna? Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Now Bhagavan is defining. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Trividha Bhavati SraDhdhaa Dehinam sa Svabhavaja Sattviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Chetitam Shunu. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, Arjuna, first of all understand even the faith itself that is there in every one of us, born of our own nature, which is inherent due to our latent, very subtle impressions called the vasanas from the billions of our past lives. For every one of us, for all the beings, is classified into the three ways, namely Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. So, the vasanas are the latent impressions. They are very subtle in nature. They are there in our minds from various previous births. Like ruchi, taste for or preference for certain items, faith, SraDhdha, these are the qualities of the soul. Because of the soul's association with the three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajo guna and the Tamo guna. It is not that this is our first birth. We have taken billions and billions of births before. And all these gunas have left an impression. These gunas, Sattva, Raja and Tamo gunas, left their indelible impressions on our minds. So when we talk about faith, Lord Krishna is defining what that kind of faith is. Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic faith. How do we know what kind of a faith we have? Sattvanu Rupa Sarvasya SraDhdhaa Bhavati Bharata SraDhdhaa Mayoyam Purusho Yoyat SraDhdhassa Eva Saha. O Bharata, Arjuna, born in the Bharata Vamsha, everyone's faith is in accordance with their internal makeup, Antahkarana, the mind. Sattva means the Antahkarana, the mind. All people are associated with a certain faith. Whatever is that SraDhdha, whatever is that faith, that is what that person is. What kind of a person is he? Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic? That we know depending on what kind of faith that person is having. The mind is there attached to the gunas, which are like objects. Sattvic body, senses, etc. means any being with a particular faith corresponding to those gunas. And these are the latent impressions called the vasanas. They influence ruchi, which influences shraddha. These are the ones that are there in our minds. These latent impressions are there. And what we behave, how we treat, how we behave, what we eat, what we prefer, these are all according to our inherent impressions that are there in our mind. That left an impression in our mind for the past billions and billions of lives. Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasaha pretan bhutaganaschanye yajante tamasa janaha. One way easily to find out what kind of worship we are doing. People who are there associated with the sattva guna, they worship the gods. Those people who are associated with rajoguna, they worship yakshas and rakshasas. They are one kind of demigods like Kubera, etc., interested in material possessions. And the others are there with a tamasic nature. They worship the deceased ancestors and lots of bhutaganas. Worship of gods at least will lead a person with sattvic nature to happiness without any pain to the world of gods. As Krishna says, Yanti devavratan devan. Whereas people with rajasic nature worship the yakshas and rakshasas, aspiring for physical comforts to enjoy here. And whatever we are praying for here is mixed with pain also. The pleasure we are asking for is mixed with pain also. But people with tamasic nature, they worship the bhuta preta ganas only, and that will give them very little happiness, and that is always very close to pain, here as well as hereafter. Hereafter means after leaving this body. And while performing the pujas, we indulge in certain kind of rituals that Krishna is explaining here. Ashahastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapojanaha dambha ahankara samyuktaha kama raga balanvitaha. Some people, they practice some terrible forms of austerity, but they are not at all authorized by the scriptures. They are doing so only out of arrogance, to create a show that they are very religious people. And of course, that includes self-conceit. In reality, such worship is only prompted by the force of passion for sense gratification, just to fulfill their desires. That's why they indulge in some kind of special pujas that are made to order for some specific results. But unfortunately, what they do not realize is this kind of pujas are there forcing you for many rebirths. And again, when there is a birth, there is death also. Therefore, this kind of made to order pujas are of no good, no use at all to the Jivatma to attain salvation. Karshayantaha sharirastam bhutagramam achetasaha mam chaivantas sharirastam tan vidhi asura nishchayan. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, some of these ignorant people, they torture the Panchabhutas, the five elements, Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayu, Akashat, the earth, water, fire, air and ether in their bodies. And also the Supreme Lord, the Self, which is part of the Supreme Self, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, who is dwelling within all the souls. And they are certainly known to be demoniac in their faith. Tan vidhi asura nishchayan. undoubtedly they are belonging to the demoniac nature of worship. Because some sacrifices they involve very harsh and cruelty to animals. Only they are tamasic rituals belonging to the demoniac faith. And such people, they take pleasure in resorting to violence. And they say, oh, we sacrificed so many animals during that puja. We even gave human sacrifices. They are not at all in accordance with the Vedic scriptures. They are done only by people with a demoniac nature and who expect some results for their personal sense gratification. Ultimately, they will all end up only in Naraka, the hellish planets, as given by Lord Krishna in the 16th chapter. Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanamatmanaha. Even the food that we eat also is classified as sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. What kind of people eat what kind of foods? Aharastupi sarvasya trividho bhavati priyah yajñas tapastadha dhanam tesham bhedam imam shunu. Arjuna, it is not only in the praying habits, it is the food that we eat, which everybody is very fond of eating. There are three types. Same thing, the yajñas that we do, the austerities, the tapasya that we practice, and the charity, dhanam, that we give, gifts without any expectations, they all come under these three categories. Of course, food items means there are 4 varieties of food items as given in Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter. Bhakshya, Bhojya, Lehya, Choshyas. All the Upanishads talk about the purity of the food that we have to eat. Chandogya Upanishad very specifically says, Ahara Shuddhau Sattva Shuddhau Dhruva Smriti. Only when the food that we eat is pure, a person becomes purified in their mind, in his mind. If the food that we eat is not prepared in a proper way, then the purity of the mind is very difficult to attain. And that is what Krishna says about our eating habits. Ayus sattva bala rogya sukha priti vivardhana rasya snigdha sthira hrujya ahara sattvika priya. Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjuna, only those food items which increase the longevity, which increase our intellectual alertness, our strength, health, happiness and pleasure, and such things are very sweet and juicy and filled with oil also, like the cashews, almonds, etc. Very substantial and pleasant, pleasing to the eyes also, and the mind at the very first look. These are the food items that are liked by those with a sattvic nature. And what about those in the rajasic nature? Katva, amla, lavana, tyushna, tikshna, ruksha, vidahina, ahara, rajasasyeshta, dukkha, shoka, maya pradaha. And those people who prefer the kind of foods which are very bitter, some kind of alcoholic drinks that are very sour or very salty, some pickles, extremely hot, very pungent, like eating the hot peppers, very dry and produce a burning sensation. Too many chilies, too much of black pepper. They are all very dear to people who are endowed with rajasic nature, in the mode of passion, and such food items will only produce pain and sorrow and end up in diseases. And those people who eat certain kind of foods are called tamasic, as given here. Yata yamam gatarasam puti parishitanchayate uchchestamapi cha medhyam bhojanam tamasapriyam. Some of these food items that are stale, cooked before 3 hours, tasteless, they have become putrid. They are giving out a very bad smell. They are very stale, with a changed taste. Anything that is there, a cooked item or a prepared item over a long period of time, will change with the taste is changed due to the decay over a period of time. And the leftovers, half eaten by others and left on the plates, unhygienic, prepared by people in unclean conditions, and food items unfit to be offered to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. They are liked by those people who are in tamoguna. Very easily we can see why people prefer their own food items. It is because of the inherent nature, the latent impressions that are there in their mind. Aphala kankshibhir yajno vidhidrashto yajyate yashtavyameveti manah samadhaya sasatvikaha. And even the pujas that we do, the yajnas that we do, are considered as sattvic if they are performed without desiring any benefits, nishkama karma, not seeking any karma phalam, offering prayers not for the results. We always want results as the returns. That's not correct. So the sattvic way of praying is offering those prayers or doing those sacrifices without having any desire for the benefits that are going to come along after doing that puja. And of course that puja has to be performed with a firm conviction that they must be performed, and they should be authorized by the scriptures. They should be authorized by the scriptures. Like say fasting. It's a very good example to understand. Ekadashi fasting is prescribed in many scriptures. And great devotees like Ambarisha, Rukmangada, they all observed Ekadashi fasting. But there are many people who observe fasting on various other days or at various times. They expect some kind of a benefit by doing that kind of fasting on some days of their choice that may or may not be sanctioned by the scriptures. That is the reason why, if that fasting is not observed properly as according to the script, as given in the scriptures, what to eat, what not to eat on those fasting days, it will become a waste of our fasting on that day. Many people take so many varieties of food on fasting days that is not even serving the purpose of fasting. And many people fast on the days of their choice, which is not scripturally sanctioned. Therefore, these things are not going to give any benefit to the karta, the person who is observing that kind of prayers, sacrifices. Now about the rajasic. Abhisandhayatu phalam dambardhapapi chaivayate ijjate bharata shreshta tam yajnam vidhi rajasam. Arjuna, Bharata Shrestha, those sacrifices, yajnas or pujas which are performed expecting some benefits, because they do those pujas only because of the benefits, results as rewards for those prayers or pujas, and done for the sake of creating a show that let all the people think I am a very religious person. to create an image of religiosity. And certainly that kind of pujas come under the category of Rajasic in nature. People pray, if I pass my exam, I will donate some money to a particular temple. If I get a particular high paying job, I will fast on Saturdays for 1 year or for 2 years like that. Or if I get a job and can also go abroad, I will offer my hair at a particular temple, or I will go round and round a particular temple 108 times. So this kind of pujas come under the category of Rajasic pujas, and performing those pujas is not of great value even.